Okay, so Hydrasynth, Explorer, SP, great combination. But I will say this board is super deep. So, and when I say super deep, I mean like, it's not hard to make changes and figure out that part of it. But if you don't save your patches, whatever you make that sound, you make at that moment, unless you're that person who don't mind random, super random patches, which you'll never explore again, you just move on to the next one. You got to save them, because otherwise you end up like what I just did, where I made this song and I actually like the song, but I won't be able to play it again because I can't make that patch again because I don't remember exactly what I did. Yeah, and it's a lot of settings in here, so my big suggestion is nobody's going to, if your memory is that good, kudos to you, but it's not for me. So I started, let me just play it for you. I started with this. Which was the suitcase, but I did some tweaking to it. Now I can't, this is sort of it. So if I go back to, let's see, let's go to filter one. Very hard to get. I mean, that sound is really hard. Whatever I did is really hard to get back to. We're on filter one. Now we're on filter two. So this is sort of it, but it's not exactly. It sounds cool though, nonetheless, but it's still, it's one of those things where when you got this many settings, it's not like with an app like on the computer. They do have an app to update or I should say a plugin to update and a plugin to get your sounds over. And I guess in that plugin too, you could in theory save certain presets that you make if you didn't want to keep them in the board, but I'm not like live performance, so it's a big difference. But for me, it's like if I like the song I did at that moment, and that's the hard thing is like, do you like it? I guess you could always delete it later, but I'd say keep a bank open so you could just save sounds, because it's a ton of stuff. It's hard to explain, like, because it's a lot to remember, right? And especially if you use random and you're not really like going in and knowing what you're exactly tweaking, it could get kind of challenging. I like that sound too, but it's just so many amazing sounds. Like one sound could be like 100 sounds. That's how this board is. And if you like having something new all the time, which is the reason why I like it, I never feel like it's old or outdated. It's gonna have, kind of reminds me of like Omnisphere in a box, sort of. I know it's a lot to say for this because Omnisphere has over 10,000 preset sounds or whatever. But when I say that, it's like every time you tweak one or two things, I start hearing something else. I'll be like, man, I could use that for, right? That type of thing. Everything, I'm serious. It's like that. Okay, so let's play the song. So here, all right. Then I add some drums. Then I added this. So this first one didn't have have the ghost kicks in it. Now I added little melody. That melody, all that came from here. Then I added this. I'm gonna let it just trigger itself since I let it go past it. Now this I played with the bass guitar. I did not play that with the bass with this. All right, so that's real basic, but it was my first thing that I did with this guy where I actually tweaked sounds and went in and did it. I mean, I messed around a couple times on, I'm kind of liking what this is. I might have to say that. But anyway, yeah, it just sounds really cool. It reminds me of something. When I heard it, I was like, oh, that sounds like something from the 90s or whatever. Real laid back, kind of jazzy, kind of mellow vibe, which is what I like. I'm still getting over being sick. I'm still not over it. I'm just kind of like getting through it. But I'm hoping I'm not shaking the camera too much. One thing I wish, well, not this board, but the SP had, which is kind of why I got this mixer face, was the input on the back here is so low. And I guess they did that to prevent somebody from, pumping something too loud, but there's no adjustment in here. You can't, the outputs you can tweak to go down to like maybe a -6 or whatever you want to do. But the inputs in here have no adjustment except for the one in the front for the mic and the guitar or whatever, or bass if you plug in a bass. But I would like to see them add that onto the back into the input, just something where we can crank it up. It can be internally, because if I play something soft, it's not, I mean, it literally is not. The front input is not controlling the back, so they're separate. These are separate inputs. But it would be nice, because there's no volume knob back here, to see that. Like, because right now, if I turn this up too far, well, then the kicks are going to blow out the speakers, and the room's going to start shaking. It's that loud, right? And what's bad is, like, I know, like, if I play this in here, that I have to either normalize that track and commit to normalizing it, or I'm pretty much just like, it's whatever, So I kind of would like to see them. I mean, the other option is going here, and if this is let's see. Let's say this is you could do this. You could always go, bring copy down here, then take this one and go in here and normalize it. Oh my God, see how loud that is now though? So if I don't go in here and turn this down, now it's gonna be. But because what it's doing, delete that. It's just distorting the sound though. That's the thing. When you normalize something that's already kind of has its own fuzz going in there, it just distorts the sound so bad. So, I mean, of course, you could use the isolator, or you could use the EQ and try to EQ it. But it's like, come on, man, you just recording in. You just want to get a good level. So I really want Roland, I hope Roland will do this and put something internally. So if I go shift utility and I go system, excuse me, I'm really dealing with this, but system, where is it? See how, not click. Let's see, gain. On the gain page, there's an attenuator on, noise gate on. The line out has a 0 dB, which you can crank up. The phone out, you can crank up, which is your headphone. The USB out even has one, which is kind of good because if you want the USB turned up to record, I need to use that. I have been yet to use that, and I need to, because sometimes you record out and the USB will be, let me see, hold on, let me see if it lets you. Oh, you know what? It only lets you turn it down. And so all of these are just to turn it down. Otherwise it stays a dB gain. There's an anti-feedback, which is good. But like in here, it should be one that just said, lets us turn the volume up on the inputs. Anyway, just a thought. Would love to see. So that's it. I just wanted to show you my first track here. I have not done one directly into to Ableton yet, but the SP is hooked to Ableton. So at any point I could just record through the SP into it. The SP has really become my sound card now, more or less, as well as my box that I can record into and do, put together kind of the track prior to going to the computer, which is cool too, because I can run the guitar through here. I can run the bass through here and just go right in, no problem. Don't need another sound card for it. Sound cards, audio, and I keep saying sound cards. I'm really old, I guess, putting my age on that. But anyway, audio interfaces are really good for those type of things. And probably would give me a cleaner sound, which is why I have the mixer face. But if I'm being honest about it, I like the sound of it. It's fine. 16-bit, 48 kilohertz sample rate. I'm cool with that. So for right now, that works.